So we're here today with a singer and songwriter who has a huge few weeks ahead of her. She's got a brand new release out today, massive live stream show coming up, and the release of her stunning debut album Neptune's Daughter coming up in January. Kerri Watt, hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, having a busy morning with the new release, but all good, thank you.
You've packed quite a lot into a short period of time here. How are you feeling about it all?
It's a little overwhelming, but it's really exciting. I think this year, just having lots of downtime, I wanted to make the most of it. So I ended up putting out two unplanned EPs, the second of which concludes today with the final song, which is a cover of Say Something by Chris Stapleton and Justin Timberlake. And yeah, it feels really exciting, especially about the upcoming album, because it's been recorded for a while. It was supposed to be out at the start of this year, and then, with everything, we decided to push it back till 2021. So it feels like an exciting and very busy time.
Brilliant. With pushing the album back, it's obviously given you the opportunity to release these two EPs, Chapter 1 and 2. Can you tell us a little about how they complement each other and how they work into today's release and how that works with it?
Yeah, well, I wanted to, when we decided to postpone the album, I wanted to still give people a glimpse of what was to come and kind of what they'd been anticipating. So with Chapter 1, I released a couple of the album songs just as a kind of teaser on that, along with a cover of a band that I really love, the band Need to Breathe. And that project was a lot of fun because it was out over the summer, and I had loads and loads of time to get really creative. And I made homemade music videos for all three of those tracks that were, again, unplanned. And it was a lot of learning, how to use different Final Cut Pro and all that kind of thing. And it was really, really cool experience. And then Chapter 2, I wanted to kind of get people geared up towards the album without giving too much away. So one of the tracks on Chapter 2 is an acoustic version of an album track. One of them is a song that's not going to be on the album, and the other one that came out today is the cover. So they've been really fun little projects and amazing to just keep me busy this year.
Brilliant. And I saw recently you posted on Facebook about the EPs that this EP, Chapter 2, you described as the final chapter of your two-part EP adventure, and referred to your upcoming album as a new journey. Is there going to be
Absolutely.
a bit of a change, a bit of a new direction, or a bit of a twist on what you've been doing so far?
The new album is like kind of a culmination of all the sounds and genres that I love, and so you'll hear glimpses of styles from my previous work in it, but as a piece, it's definitely a new direction. I think there's a couple tracks in there that people might be quite surprised by. There's one quite heavy, rocky edged one, and they generally have a bit of a sort of heavier, grittier feel to like the EPs that I released a few years ago. So I think it should be a really fun surprise, and there's lots of stuff to discover for people.
Brilliant. I've had been fortunate enough to have a sneak listen to it. It's a fantastic album, and I was sitting there going, oh, a little bit of a new genre there, spotting the different genres coming through and the different sounds. So was it a deliberate approach, or was it organic that just sort of came out naturally as you were working?
I think it was really organic, and the reason that it's taken me so long to actually get to a full album is that over the years I experimented with folk and country and blues and roots, a bit of rock, then some stuff that was really pop, and I was always trying to find like where do I want to sit, musically. And it's a hard thing to decide because there's just so many great genres out there. And then I kind of, in the past couple of years, this genre Americana has been a bit more popular, and when I looked at what that meant, it really just does incorporate all those genres that I've just mentioned. And I was like, wow, well, that's what I'm going to be then. I'm just going to kind of do it all and throw it all together and see if I can make a kind of cohesive but newish sound. So I wrote all the songs over a 2-month period in 2018. So they are a body of work in that way. And then I thought it would be kind of interesting and fun to bring on a producer from a different genre. So Machine is the name of the producer that did the record, and he is famous for his work in the heavy metal genre. So we started out by having some like Google Hangouts and talking. We just totally hit it off, got on really, really well, and found that we had a lot of musical similarities and loved a lot of the same things, despite, you know, being in such different places. And then I ended up going out to Austin, Texas for 5 weeks and recording the full record with him. And so I had an idea that I wanted it to be a blend of these genres, but he really managed to kind of help me put a stamp on this sound. And one thing that he did was kind of draw out my personality in the vocal takes, which I think is something new in the songs that maybe I wasn't, you know, even aware I could do with previous releases.
Fantastic. I mean, you mentioned working with Machine. He's well known for his work in heavy metal and rock with the likes of Fall Out Boy and so on. And were you at all concerned about working with him then, thinking this could come out a lot heavier than I want, or just complete trust in him?
I was really trusting, I think, because we'd done a lot of talking before I went to Austin. We'd shared Spotify playlists, we'd even shared movies we liked, Pinterest boards of visuals we liked. So I definitely felt like we were on the same page, and it was unknown territory for him too. So it was like a total adventure and a real collaboration.
Brilliant. And you mentioned that you recorded, I think, wrote 35 tracks, was it?
About that.
Yeah, over a course of a couple of months, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some quite intensive writing.
It was, I just moved back from London up to Scotland, and I'd been living a very busy sort of city life and doing a lot of co-writing with all different people, and I think that's where my head had got a bit confused about, oh, am I a pop artist or what am I? But when I moved back up to Scotland and I just decided to take a couple of months downtime and not do any touring, I just had this total natural reset and felt really inspired to sit and just write on my own for a couple of months, which I hadn't done for quite a while. And I did end up doing a couple of co-writes for the album, like with Scottish writer Gregor Philp, who's up here too. But yeah, it was quite an inspiring couple of months, and it didn't feel like work, you know. I was just sitting in my kitchen writing songs.
Excellent. So what subject matter has gone into it then?
There's a lot of topics in there. During that time I was going through a bit of a funny time, you know. I just moved from a big city back to the countryside of Scotland, which was a massive culture shock. And I hadn't lived in Scotland since I was 16 years old, so I'd been away for quite a few years. So there was that, and I was wanting to write about the kind of adventure of road tripping and rediscovering the mountains and the outdoors. I was going through a weird time. I really sadly lost a couple of family members, so I was dealing with that. And there's a track on the album called I Want to Sing For You that I wrote for my granny and my auntie. And then there's just a lot of, you know, romantic stuff. happy romance songs like Band of Gold, which is coming out on the 1st of January. But then there's some songs where over that 2-month period I kind of tapped into previous relationships that hadn't been very nice, and wrote songs like Hellfire, which is the kind of slower, epic-y ballad version song on the album.
Oh, fantastic. And what are you hoping that fans take away from the album then?
Well, I think it's like sprinkled with positivity and inspiration. And I feel like, although it's not what we originally planned, the start of 2021 is the perfect time to release it, because we're all starting to feel a little bit like maybe there's some light at the end of the tunnel for what's, what we've been through this past year. And I really think the album has the kind of songs to start to lift people's spirits. And there's 12 tracks on the album and 12 months in the year, so I'm hoping by the end of the year everyone will have got through them all, and maybe it'll have helped them a little bit. But I totally write from the heart, so there'll be lyrics in there that I hope resonate with people for positive reasons. And I hope people love the sound of it, and I hope people listen to it as a full piece of work, a full record, and don't just pick out a single here and there.
Yeah.
Because it was recorded to be a record.
Yeah. How did you whittle it down then from the 30 odd tracks down to the 12?
There were a few that were really obvious, like Band of Gold. The ones that have been singles so far, actually, like Kissing Fools, Band of Gold, Chasing Airplanes. The others were much, much harder. I had no idea. So I pretty much sent them to all my friends and family, and I was like, if you have time, can you listen to all these songs and tell me your favorites? So some of them did, some of them didn't. But I got a good idea quite quickly of what songs were sticking with people and what weren't.
Yeah.
And I think by the time I got out to Austin, I had 15 or 16. I had it down to 15 or 16, and then we cut it down to the final 12.
Thanks. Are you nervous in the run up to the release?
No, not really. I think I've put so much music out now that I'm always prepared for whatever response I get to it. I think I'm just more excited because I love this record so much, and if everybody else hated it, I'd still be like, well, I like it. I've had a while to sit with it. It was actually recorded a couple of years ago, so I really know how I feel about it.
Brilliant. Well, I think it's a great album, and I'm sure everyone else will. But before that, you've got a huge live stream gig coming up. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so earlier in the year, I had been doing like a weekly live stream from home, and it went on for 3 months, and people responded really well. But I just got to the point where I was like, I feel if I keep going, it's not going to be as exciting anymore, and I personally need a break from doing this every week, because every week I was trying to come up with new covers and new songs to play. And so I thought I'll take a bit of hiatus, and I'll just wait and finish the year with something really exciting and take it out of my living room and into a venue. And I wanted to invite a couple of my favourite Scottish songwriters. One who is my co-collaborator, Gregor Philp, and he's in the band Deacon Blue, and another is Will Irvine. Most people will know him from Hunter and the Bear. They just changed their band name actually to Daytime TV. So it's the three of us at Oranmore, which is an incredible, historic and really beautiful Glasgow venue. And it's the three of us on stage at once, no audience obviously, but it's all beautifully filmed, and we just talk about our songs and play them, and we play some collaborations, some duets, and we are raising money for the Music Venue Trust. So the show will be broadcast on my YouTube channel on the 17th of December at 7 p.m. and tickets are free, but there will be a button to donate to the trust.
Excellent. And you mentioned you did a series of live stream shows. How does the preparation for this one and your mindset differ from those, with it being such a bigger gig?
Yeah, well, the ones I was doing earlier in the year, I wasn't too nervous about them. I got to know which of my fans were going to tune in every week. They were always really positive, so I just kind of floating through to the living room and sit down and be like, right guys, and it was really sort of interactive and personal and fun and very laid back. But this one, because I wanted to make it a little bit more of a spectacle and make it feel like people at home were watching a live show. There was a lot more pressure, so finding the right videographer, making sure that the sound was going to be great, making sure that it was kind of seamless, because we shot it all as a one take. So if any of us, you know, hit a bum note or said something weird, there's no going back really. But we've filmed it now, and yeah, I think it's going to be a good watch.
Brilliant. And what was it like being in a venue like that, performing as if it's a full gig with an audience, but without an audience? What was that like?
It was quite strange. I kind of got used to doing it, you know, just sitting talking to my camera when people could at least type back to me saying, "Oh, loved that song," or whatever. You could get some kind of response, but yeah, it's a very different experience just sitting there in a completely empty venue and sort of clapping for each other as we played our songs, but there's just the three of us. So, but I think it's just learning to adapt to all these new ways of working, and hopefully we won't have to do it forever, but I think we probably might have to for, you know, at least the next few months. So it's good challenge.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the gig's coming up, as you mentioned, the 17th of December. I'm looking forward to catching it. And your upcoming album, Neptune's Daughter, due for release on the 15th of January 2021. Fantastic album. I encourage everybody, go out, buy it, listen to it. It's incredible.
Thank
Kerri
you
Watt,
so much.
thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure.
Lovely speaking to you, and look forward to catching you performing live soon.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.